Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Cloud9 podcast. My name is Meredith, and I am a knitter of 18 years and a spinner of about 3 years. I'm coming to you from Littleton, Colorado, and I dye yarn for EKF, Explore Knits and Fibers. I'm really excited to be sitting here doing this. Finally, I've been meaning to make my own podcast for like 4 years at this point. I'm so inspired by so many of the different crafting podcasts that are out there. And to name a few, I'll be forgetting some, but the podcast that really got me into the online fiber community was the Gentle Knitter podcast. So Nicole from that podcast just really, I credit her with so much inspiration for my whole knitting world. She is so, I don't know, her color sense, her just commitment to the slow aspect of the craft, so much of her style and her podcast I look up to so much. Also Jackie and Carmen from the Knitting a Good Yarn podcast. I love them. Gotten to meet them a couple times. I was just at Rhinebeck last weekend, and got to see them again. So that was really great. As well as Madison from the Soulcraft Knitting podcast, who I also got to meet for the first time this past weekend. And I really credit them with helping me to like get up here and do this, because they pushed me to, I told them I wanted to start a podcast, a show just about knitting, crafting, how much I love it, how much it means to me. And they really encouraged me to start this. So thank you to Jackie and Carmen and Madison and my friends and family that have urged me to go through and do this. Who else? James N. Watts. I love his format. I love these long form, just like zero cuts. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and you just sit and craft together. That kind of format I love. Maybe this will be like that. No clue. But who else? Inga from Knitting Traditions also. I love the Knitting Traditions podcast. Yeah. It's been so, it's flipped my world upside down to find the online fiber community, because I started following all these people and everything was so inspirational. I started knitting like crazy, and I haven't stopped for like the past 4 years. And it even got me my current job as a dyer at Explore Knits and Fibers. I never would have, found this job if not for the online fiber community. So I owe everything, to it, and I'm so happy with where I'm at. It's such an incredible group of people. Anyway, let's get started. I would love to take you through just a little parade of all of my very favorite hand knits. And then I can show you what I got at Rhinebeck, and then maybe show you some active whips I have going on. I'll expose myself right now. I've got like 20 whips. It's off the charts. It is not great. I mean, it's whatever. I don't judge people for having like a zillion works in progress, but for my mental space, it would be better if I had fewer. So yeah, 20 is not ideal. I'd rather have like 3, but that will come with time, probably. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there. I'll show you some of my knits now. So this is like a half-finished one. These are the Pinwheel socks by Summer Lee. They were part of the 52 Weeks of Socks, volume 1, I think, from Lina magazine or publications. And I knit these out of Woolly Mammoth natural sock. And so I've only finished the one so far. So I guess I'm introducing you to my whips pretty early here, but I have every intention of finishing the second one because I adore these. I'm a huge fan of color work, as you can tell. And yeah, I picked about 6 colors and I thought really hard about it. And they all kind of mix in together in different combinations. I love the texture of this yarn as well. It's non-superwash, and I believe it's 50% Cheviot, 50% BFL. I'll have to look that up. I'll link it to my Ravelry page. I'll have that in the show notes beneath. But yeah, love these, and I have every intention of finishing the second one. My other favorite pair of socks at the moment are these Oxbow socks. I'm currently wearing the other one, so I'm definitely going to be putting this one back on in a second. These are the Oxbow socks by Andrea Mowry, and I knit these out of Garthenor Snowdonia sock. And Garthenor is one of my favorite yarn companies at the moment as well. So this is non-superwash, and I believe it's like 67% Hebridean, 33% Cheviot. Again, Ravelry page will have all the details. Yeah, the texture of this yarn is very crispy, I want to say. Spinners kind of tend to have terminology for the, texture of different yarns, and it's got more of a dry feel to it. Yeah, if I sound like I'm a little bit crazy, I promise it does feel that way. I just have no better way to describe it. Yeah, I wear these all the time. They're like a kind of marled green and a gray in the ply. What else? Yeah, it's not quite like a broken rib texture. It's kind of offset pearls in between the knit stitches. And I really adore the texture. I knit these really tight on a like US 0 needle. Also shorties, like 9-inch shorties. Those are my favorite style of needle for socks. I know some people get cramps in their hands when they do it, but I have not had an issue, so I use it like that all the time. Yeah, and they're super warm. I love them. And I'm just gonna pop this one back on right now. Okay, my next all-time favorite knit is my first hand-spun object. It's this hat, the Harlow hat, worsted by Andrea Mowry also. And it's knit out of my hand-spun Targhee fiber from Nest Fiber, which is just up the road in Boulder from me. And the colorway was Andromeda. So I knit this when I was in Italy last year, and it was a perfect whip. I kind of like to hand wind my hand spun yarn into little balls when I do it, because it kind of it allows you to spend more time with the yarn. So I remember trying to wind the ball of this on the plane, and it was getting horribly tangled, but I didn't even mind because it was such a nice yarn to work with. It's really springy. Targhee is like the springiest fiber I may have ever spun with. Yeah, I wear this a lot. Okay, my next favorite hat is kind of a future favorite because it's way too big at the moment. This is the Bugafleur beanie. I don't know the designer. It's from Shetland Wool Week. It's in conjunction with Shetland Wool Week, which I would love to attend one day. But yes, I knit this out of Jamieson's and Smith, Shetland. What am I saying? Jamieson's and Smith, 2-ply jumper weight yarn. And I really took some time to pick out the colors here. So it kind of fades from a blue into a purple into a pink and then back down again. Even on the corrugated ribbing, you can see it, how the colors shift. Yeah, it was a ton of fun to knit. I love the texture of Shetland wool very much. It's just way too big. Way too big. So the plan is to throw it in the washer or the dryer and felt it. I've never felted anything yet, but I would really like to do that with this one because I love how it looks. I worked so hard on it and it's so big. I should also mention this piece, which I just finished for Rhinebeck and Woollen Affair specifically, because that's where we were vending this past weekend. This is the Figures cardigan by Audrey Borrego of Yarn Flakes. See if I can show you. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. So I knit this out of our EKF yarn linen DK in the colors linen and forest floor. Yeah, and it was a really nice yarn to work with. It's much softer than I expected for having linen content, so it's very drapey, very soft. I love the way the colors work together. I am going to live in this once I finish the sleeves or kind of do some surgery on the sleeves because they're just too short. I want it to be cozy and kind of like slouchy slightly, kind of a little bit oversized. I didn't account for how the balloon sleeve aspect would make it sort of shorten. You'd lose a little bit of length there in the sleeve. One of my friends from work said I could probably just block it and stretch it out and that would get me to a longer sleeve. We will see. But I already love it. It's very warm. And these buttons are to die for. So these are buttons from Golden Earth Designs. I'm trying to remember where she's based from, but I'm also drinking coffee out of her mug that I just picked up this weekend. So cute. I love it. Yeah, Golden Earth Designs. I will link her below. With some coffee from Brooklyn. Delicious. All right. This next finished object is huge. Can't even show it all. But this is the Half and Half Triangles wrap by Pearl Soho. And I knit it like 3 or 4 years ago when that whole craze was unfolding. And this is out of Pearl Soho Linen Quill, which is one of my favorite yarns. I think it's about like 50% wool, 35% alpaca, 15% linen, something like that. So it's slightly heathered from the linen content. And I knit it out of the colors Rosewood Pink and Honey Pink. Yeah, and it is the squishiest, cushiest, drapiest thing that I own. I just kind of like toss it around my shoulders sometimes when it's really cold out, and it kind of covers my shoulders and my neck. So it's just a big warm hug. I love it so much. It's kind of a lap blanket too. It really does it all. Yeah, I fully understood the hype like before even finishing this thing. Okay, another favorite of mine is this polo. Oh, it's by Rebecca Clow of the Caribbean. Lunin Tea, DK weight. This is our yarn, Explore Knits and Fibers, Earthy DK. And it's knit out of the color Shiitake from our Farmer's Market collection last year. Yeah, it is so nice. It is definitely more rustic than the linen DK, but I don't mind that at all. So it's got a really cool kind of like shoulder detail here that you can see. Yeah, I love it very much. And a double neck collar, which took a long time, but it looks really nice. Yeah. I'll have to do like a little fashion show with all my knits or something, because it doesn't do it justice just to hold it up sometimes. Okay. Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorites. This is the Ovis sweater by Petite Knit. Nope, not Petite Knit. The Petite Knitter, now Sasky & Co. And this is also Explore Knits and Fibers yarn. So this is our earthy sock base plus our Surrey alpaca lace. I knit it out of our Spain colors for Rhinebeck 2 years ago. So this is Churros con Chocolate. The green is Olive Grove. The sort of beige pinky here is Barceloneta. The red orange is like, I think it's called Saffron. And then the black here is Nutiden unspun yarn, which is an absolute favorite of mine for yarns. But yeah, this is the knit that I guess I feel most accomplished when I wear it around. The knit that I feel most accomplished in when I wear it around. And it's just a beautiful design. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Okay, and the final favorite that I have, this is over like probably about the past 4 years that I've racked all of these up, amongst others that I haven't shown here. But the final one that I have to show, and you'll probably be able to tell how much love I've put into it, how well loved it is because it's pilling a little bit, is the Bertha sweater by Vanessa Pelissa. I knit this out of Nutiden by Honeroyer. Probably butchering that, but that's the best I can do. So this color, it's not really showing up very well. Let me see if this is better. Nope, not better. This color is called Languster. It is, can I just get you to see all the colors going on here? No, it looks kind of gray, but there's basically only 3 colors in this yarn. There's yellow, purple, and white. Yeah. Maybe I can do some B-roll throughout this to show you the true shade of this, because from far away it looks kind of like a rosy beige, but then up close you can see this like violet purple, this like bright sunny yellow, and then just white all throughout, because the way they do this yarn is they dye it in the wool, so before spinning it, so they'll have like a purple fluff, a yellow fluff, and a white fluff, and then they send it through their mill, so you get these flecks of color throughout that you can see when you look up close. Yeah, I adore it. I wear it all the time during the winter. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at what I got at Rhinebeck this year. Oh goodness. Well, this one I am already knitting up because I ran out of knitting on the trip, and I also was very excited to work with it. So this yarn is from Sanctuary Fibers, which is a new to me yarn producer. They're based in New York, and this fiber, should have brought the ball band with me. I believe it's a mix of Cormo and Romney. Yeah, I think it's 90% Cormo, or it said Corriedale/Merino, which I understand to be Cormo, and then 10% Romney, which adds a little bit of kind of heathered, some black coming through in the fiber. Yeah. It's this beautiful light green with sort of a warm undertone of yellow to it. And the fiber is so springy. It feels kind of semi-woolen spun, because while it is super drapey, it is also very springy. Yeah, super, super springy. and it kind of reminds me of Durarum Natura Ulysses yarn in that way, because it's not scratchy in any way, but then it's also very springy, so it has qualities of both worsted and woolen spun yarn, which I love. Yeah, it's stunning. I can't wait to finish it and get to wear it. I'm making a Manhattan hat with it, by the way, by Tori Yu. Okay. Oh my goodness, I have a towering pile of knits over here in the corner. Okay. All right, what else? I got some Spin Cycle. Yeah. I guess my color scheme for this event, this was all from Wool and Affair, by the way, on the Friday before Rhinebeck. But my color scheme was kind of like greeny yellowy with this skein, which I'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, it's kind of funny. At Flock, my color scheme was a little more like beige, peach, something, something. So I don't really know that I have a color scheme, but these two are beautiful, and I'm going to hold them together. Not together. I'm going to hold them together for color work in a pair of socks, I think, because I love, love, love to knit socks. And they're in the colorways Bad Egg and Dark Matter. Yeah, the quality of this yarn is really nice. It's like squishy, looks just like hand spun, super cool. And then, yeah, the final skein that I got was from Dagan, Lindsay Dagan. This is in her DK base, and it's called Smile. And I don't really wear a lot of yellow, but I was inspired by this knitting podcast, which is an actual podcast, like audio podcast, called Mostly Knitting. It's run by Ingvild and Vibeke from Norway, and they talked about how when they're in like a knitting funk and they can't get their motivation back, they just knit with something yellow and do a yellow hat or a yellow pair of socks. And I thought that was the cutest idea, and so wholesome. So I just wanted to find the perfect like sunshiny yellow, which might come in handy this winter. It is sunny here in Colorado during the winter. We have like 300 days of sun in the year, but sometimes it's just really cold, and you can use a little bit of brightness and warmth like this. So I think this will be a hat, but I don't know. I'm just gonna have it in the back pocket for if I ever feel sad about my knitting and I need a little kick in the butt. Yeah, what else did I get? Oh, okay, so now we're on to actual Rhinebeck purchases. And I was trying to be really, really intentional about this, A, because I did not have much room in my luggage left, and B, I don't really want to add to my stash too much, because as you can see, this is just my DK yarn. It is a small selection of my entire stash. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to tell all and show all about that, but yeah, it's a lot. So I didn't want to go crazy at Rhinebeck and come back with a huge amount of yarn, because yeah, I already have a lot to work from, and I don't need that. Don't need that much. But there were a few things that really, really caught my eye, and made it home with me. And I was kind of like sad that I didn't get more of this yarn, the Sanctuary Fibers Heritage DK, I believe it was, the base. I just tend to buy like random single skeins of everything, and I love to make socks in any weight of yarn, but they just kind of start to pile up, and then you're like, ooh, it's just 30 here, 30 there, not much, just buy here, buy there, a little bit here. a little bit there, and then you end up with a ton of yarn. So I felt like, why didn't I get a shawl quantity? Why didn't I get a sweater quantity? Like, I should have been a little more intentional with that instead of just buying random skeins. So when I walked into the Garthenor booth at Rhinebeck, I had a little bit of a mission in mind. And I picked out this yarn, the number 2, which is 100% organic Shetland and Cheviot wool. And it does say, 100% Shetland Cheviot cross. So it is a single breed, but it's a crossbreed of Shetland and Cheviot. And like, I wish you could feel the yarn through the camera. It is so different from any other yarn that I have experienced before. It is a very dry feeling kind of yarn. I can hear my coworkers laughing at me right now because I love a dry, crispy, rustic yarn. I really do. I'm a bit of the minority in that at work, but you know what? Gotta do what you want to do. So I love, love, love this yarn. It's springy. It's soft. Well, maybe not soft, but it's just got a lot of character to it. And I think I'm gonna make a shawl out of it because I got 6 of them. Ooh. Here's the last guy. I got 6. And I could probably squeeze a sweater out of this if I wanted to, but I just kind of want like a big scarf or a shawl or something, and it would be good for outerwear. I feel like it feels like it would be quite warm. So yeah, that was a very joyful purchase for me. And then I had been kind of like really, really wanting to pick up a dark brown to like natural black sweater quantity at Rhinebeck of some kind of farm yarn. And I wasn't sure if I wanted spun yarn or unspun yarn or spinning fiber to spin the yarn and then make the sweater out of that. And I found a lot of different yarns that were really pretty, and the color that I was looking for. But you know when you feel like a very special yarn and you're like, oh, this will not come again for a long time. And the one that I landed on finally that felt that way to me was this fiber from Bolayers Orchards from Troy, Pennsylvania. And it is 100% Rommeldale CVM wool roving. And it is just so springy, so squishy. Smells all sheepy, and it's in this nice dark color with a little bit of heathering, because I think that's the nature of Rommeldale CVM. When I looked it up, they're kind of crossbred together, and there's a little bit of white in there, so it'll be slightly heathered, which I love. The crimp, again, maybe I can find some way to put in some B-roll footage here, because the crimp is incredible, and this camera is not adequate to show it, but it's already like sectioned out into these little thin strands of roving, which I can just go right onto the wheel with, not have to prepare it any more than this, which is so nice. And yeah, it is gonna be a beautiful sweater. I'm aiming for like worsted to Aran weight, I think. Maybe cabled. I haven't decided yet, but oh my god. It is so good. Yeah, we shall see. And then on Sunday, Allie and my coworker Alana and I went into the city as they call it, into Brooklyn. And we went to Brooklyn General Store, so I got some of their yarn. I didn't even know they made their own yarn. It's so cool. This is Skydance Fibers, Brooklyn General Store. Their Ursa Minor base, which is grown on small farms in New York and spun and hand-dyed in New York. It's got Cormo, Merino, and Romney in it. And the color is Heart and Mind. Yeah. So it's like a fingering weight, looks like. And this like kind of clay pink color, which was also definitely inspired by Ingvild and Vibeke from Mostly Knitting Podcast, because this feels very much like their kind of color. And I might like start kind of a big kind of garter stitch blanket with a lot of my single skeins and scraps and stuff, because that seems like a really nice way to just have some mindless knitting always on the go, and to get to like make my way through the scraps that I have, make use of it, could even donate it. I've really been wanting to donate some of my knits lately, because I need to clear it out, and guarantee you someone needs this more than I do. So we shall see. On a side note, if you are in the Denver area and you want to attend our Gather Together event for Explore Knits and Fibers, that is happening on November 8th. So we're going to get together and knit for charity. We're going to knit hats and donate hand knit items, or just any garments or clothing that you might not need anymore, to our mutual aid Monday organization in Denver, which is just a super cool philosophy, and it's all about bringing the community together to use your own resources and time to help people who are experiencing homelessness. So join us if you're around. All right, that's not all my purchases. I also have some non-yarn stuff that I got. I visited the famed Button Barn at Rhinebeck, which I should say, it is not a whole barn full of buttons. I know that's kind of fantastical sounding, but that was definitely the image in my head. And it's just a booth inside of a barn that has buttons. So just so you know, if you were like me and thought that it was just a barn full of buttons. I grabbed the wrong thing. This is not the buttons. I don't know where the buttons are. But I got some like toggles for this cardigan that I want to make. Fully blanking on the name, but it's from the latest Lina magazine, and it's just a bulky weight sweater at a really thick gauge, and it has toggles attached all the way down. Man, I can never remember the name. Anyway, I'll link that below too. But I did bring this little ornament that I got that was so cute. It was from this booth, Hoof Print Pottery, and the booth was called Hall and Hoof Farm Store, and they had an insane selection of buttons in every shape imaginable. They had duck buttons, they had dog buttons, they had cat buttons, they had turnip buttons. It was stunningly beautiful, and I would have bought all of them if I had the funds. But Rhinebeck 2025 it says, and there's little apples hand painted on it. Super cute. Can't wait to hang this up this year. And I got some books. So this one I've wanted for a long time. Grand Shetland Adventure Knits by Gudrun Johnson and Mary Jane Mucklestone, two designers that I think have very beautiful designs. It's got a lot of really beautiful photography of Shetland. I will probably mention Shetland a lot in the course of this podcast because I want to go there very badly. And I love Shetland fiber and yarn. Um, yeah, you can just see the texture here is so beautiful. I love it. You can see the inspiration there, how those colors came into that design. Yeah, super excited to look through this one. Probably make some colorwork hats and stuff. So, and then this book was more of an impulse purchase, and it's very hippy dippy. I love it. I'm very excited to read this book. It's called "Listen to the Wool: A Y2 Guide for Joyful Spinning," by Josephine Walton, and I flipped it open to a page and she was just talking about how you just kind of let the fiber just pass through your hands and watch it spin up into a single, to kind of slow down the twist when you need to. And I have never seen a book about kind of mindful spinning before. It comes with the territory. You can't not be mindful and spin at the same time. It forces you to be in the moment. But I will read about it ad nauseum because that is what spinning is to me, is meditation. Again, I can hear my friends and coworkers laughing at me because I am just so la la hippy dippy sometimes, but I know it's all good natured, and I'm just doing what I love. So yeah, this one's gonna be a well loved book, I can already tell. Alrighty. And that's everything I got. So I can show you what I'm working on. So this is going to be a Tromso hat by Joji Locatelli. The yarn is Camaro's Snefnug. And you can kind of see from here just how like soft, squishy, beautiful that this yarn is. It's a blend of alpaca, cotton, and merino. Super, super soft to the touch. And it's going to have a double fold brim, which I think will be so nice during the winter. Keep my ears nice and warm. And it has a really cool construction on the top of the hat where you basically just knit a tube and then you bind it off at the top and then you fold it down and sew it down, and then it comes out looking like this. I think it's super unique and cool. And then I think the only other thing I really have to show you is my spinning whip at the moment. I'm starting to learn supported spindling lately, and it is so pleasant. I like to be able to like sit and spin at the same time. So it's nice to be able to sit on the couch and just start spinning the drop or the supported spindle. And this fiber is also extremely lovely. This is from Inglenook Fibers. It is sort of a group of like 6 different colors that they have, and the photo inspiration was sort of this lake at sunset during the winter, so there were all these sort of like peachy and bluey tones in the sky, and there were sort of tree branches breaking it up, and then this reflection on the lake. So it was sort of a lot of blacks and blues and peaches. And so there are 6 different little like nestlets, or I think they call them, oh, they have a word for them, but little baby bats basically, where they've carded this fiber and added some like sparkle into it. And so this is probably my favorite color of the bunch because it looks like the sky at sunset to me. And when it becomes the fiber, it is so... Y'all, I'm gonna have to get a better lighting situation. This is not ideal. There you go. You can see it better now. Yeah. All the fibers together just make this beautiful mix of colors and textures. No idea what I want to spin with this. And I've like talked about this before with friends and stuff, but it's just kind of funny when it comes to spinning because it feels like when you have spun up your singles and you've plied it together and you're staring at this little hank of yarn that you've spun, it feels like complete, like a finished object. It feels like you've finished the project and you could just sit and stare at it, frame it on a wall. Like, it doesn't need to be knit or crocheted or woven or anything else. Which is why it took me like 2 years to finally spin my hand spun to finally knit my hand spun into this hat. Because it felt like it was done already. And weirdly enough, the kind of stuff that you like to spin doesn't always correspond with the kind of stuff you like to knit with. So, it's just a funny thing. But, yeah. I've thought about this yarn and what I might do with it, because I'll just grab the other ones to show you. They're right over here. So these are all the colors together. Okay. La la la. They're going everywhere. So this is the one I'm currently spinning. Then there's this one that has more kind of like pink in it. Orange, a little bit of blue. Then this one gets very orange. Then you have like some pure blue here. And then these two are very dark. This one's more kind of orangey warm, and this one's more cool and blue. So it feels like there's a way where you could sort of fade them into each other if you wanted to, like this maybe. Where they sort of, and then with this one, they sort of make this little fade together. But I'm not really a fade kind of person, so I'm not sure. It could be fun color work together. And I think the total should be, where'd that little guy go? The total should be 4.1 ounces. So I could make like a little scarflet thing with it, like a little ascot of some kind, as is so popular at the moment. Oh yeah, and here's the inspiration photo for you to see, which I think is stunningly beautiful. And it's so cool to see artists' interpretations of, inspiration photos and how it comes out in the fiber. That's a really fun thing for me to see. But yeah, oh my god, this fiber is a dream. It is so soft, so squishy. It's got these noils in it, these silk noils coming out, and it creates sort of a more heathered, maybe even tweedy kind of yarn. And you can sort of see the halo coming off of this. It is, oh my god. It is so good. I get so much joy out of knitting with hand spun. It's so fulfilling to like know that you were responsible for that much of the process. I actually have a plan that I was going to execute this year, but it did not happen, which was to take a sweater quantity of fiber. I was thinking like sort of a gray fiber, maybe Jacob. Jacob is one of my favorite breeds to spin. Turn that into a yarn, spin it up, and then dye it with indigo that maybe I could grow myself, maybe not. It's a lot of points in the process. It's very ambitious, but like dream knits, I would take this fiber, spin it up, dye it with indigo that I had grown, knit that into a sweater, and wear it to Rhinebeck. And I have it all written out here too, the little schedule that I set for myself. It was part of the bucket list make-along from M to the Third, and the Sibling Energy podcast, which is also a great one. Yeah. This is a theme with me. I tend to bite off more than I can chew and get really excited about 10 different things and want to do it from scratch, from start to finish. But I just, bite off more than I can chew, and then it never happens. So it's a wonder that I even have any finished objects at all, to be honest. Knitting has started to teach me a lot about that. Following through. I just have so many dreams. Ergo Cloud9 podcast. I have so many dreams of what I want to do with my knitting. It's all so dreamy and beautiful to me, so I don't always execute all of them, but I think that's okay. Like, I think it's okay to have ideas that don't end up in a physical form by the end of it, you know. If I tried to execute every single one of my ideas, I would never sleep. I would just be knitting all the time. So I think it's a nice thing to take it slow, be choosy with like your projects and the yarn that you buy, which again, hypocritical of me to say, but I just have a lot of ideas and excitement about it. And that's why I'm finally doing this podcast, because if I talked to all my friends and family about it as much as I think about it, their ears would fall off. So, yeah. Thanks for being here. I don't know, I feel like there's more to say. I don't want this to be over quite yet. I feel like there's more to discuss, but that's for a future episode, I suppose. I mean, I guess one thing that I sometimes want is to knit alongside podcasters. So we could just hang out. If you need to get on with your day and you don't have more time to just sit and knit, then I'll bid you farewell and thank you for coming to this first episode. Seriously means everything to me. And if you do have time, then let's sit and chat. Yeah. I should show off this stitch marker. This is by my very talented friend Rachel of Knitting en Route. And she made this for our wool gatherer solstice box last year. So it's this little sheep in this field with a moon um, that glows in the dark. And I think that is so cool. She's super talented, and all the attention to detail of her stitch markers is so fun. Maybe I can actually like show me knitting while we do this. Oh, dropped a stitch. One of the coolest parts of being at a Woolen Affair in the booth was getting to see so many beautiful sweaters going by that everyone had knit up and crocheted. I'm like super geeky about patterns and yarns and stuff, so I just love getting to like chat with people as I'm running the checkout booth with them, and just like talking about, oh, is this the, this pattern, is this yarn, and getting to talk about how beautiful it is and their experience with the pattern and the yarn. And yeah, it felt like the Olympics of crafting, just being there, because it is overwhelming how many beautiful garments were floating around that event. I was talking about that with Jackie from Knitting a Good Yarn, and how we were kind of getting tired and a little bit loopy by the end of the day because it is overwhelming. Like, it is so much going on. But also like super positive and super exciting all day long. And that was the way she put it was exactly right. She said, well, like this kind of event, it's just, oh my God, this sweater, that sweater, oh, this yarn, wow. Like that feeling for 8 hours straight. So what normally is one moment of excitement, you know, every few days about a new finished object that you see on Instagram or whatever, it was just like 8 hours straight of all of that right in front of you. So it made us a little bit loopy because it was just so crazy. And by contrast, New York Sheep and Wool itself, Rhinebeck, was very mellow. It's kind of situated on these fairgrounds where there are lots of trees that are changing color. And it's always the third weekend in October, I believe. So it's pretty much always like peak autumn color in upstate New York. So you're passing underneath all these trees with the leaves changing, and the golden light is falling down everywhere. And despite how many people show up, it is spread out. Outside, it is pretty spread out, so there's space to walk and places to sit and just observe everything, take your time. Inside some of the barns, it is a little bit body to body, but overall, it is surprisingly mellow as an event. And that was very appreciated, especially from the day prior at Woolen Affair, which was also great. Just much more high energy, So many designers and dyers and just so many cool people under one roof. And Rhinebeck is a nice way to sort of take it easy after so much stimuli at the same time. Be sure to let me know what you're working on in the comments, because I love to know. And it's also okay if you're kind of like a chronic lurker like I have been. I don't even want to use that word because everyone contributes in their own way to this community, I feel like. And I've been here for 4 years, and this is my first time actually being on camera, but I still feel like I've contributed. So if you don't tend to comment or be as active posting online, that's totally fine too. It's just cool to share this space with one another, I think. After this, I think I might have some tea that I've really been enjoying lately. It's called Green of London by Palais de Thé from Paris. And it is a green tea with Earl Grey flavor in it. Again, inspired by Mostly Knitting Podcast with Ingvild and Vibeke. I should mention they're kind of on a hiatus at the moment. They haven't put out an episode in a little while, but I think they'll return in their own time, and I'll be there waiting when they do. But yeah, they're very lovely to listen to. And one of Vibeke's, or I think her favorite tea, is Green of London, Earl Grey green tea, and it is a very pleasant tea. It's got all the kind of earthiness of green tea, but then it has that floral element of the bergamot and lavender as well, I think. Where normally like the bergamot is next to the sort of bitterness of a black tea, instead it's next to the earthy grassiness of a green tea, and I think they pair really nicely together. When I had the idea for this podcast like 3 years ago, I almost wanted to start each podcast with, oh, don't laugh, with a knitting meditation where I would kind of guide us through a little knitting meditation and paying attention to each stitch and how it feels running through your fingers and all of that. And I still think it could be cool, but I can't see myself doing that now. I'm not sure about that. I don't normally knit continental. I am right now. But the way that I learned was through English style knitting. And that was via a combination of my step grandma teaching me and YouTube teaching me. And that is like my home in knitting, is English style knitting. It feels very comfortable to me. Um, even though it is slower. I don't even, like, we're hand knitting stuff. It's supposed to be slow. I will never be trying to speed knit through all of my yarn because that misses the whole point of it for me. For me, the point of it is to be slow, intentional, and mindful about the whole process. And to take the time to create something that you deeply love and will have for a long time. So I'm just doing continental right now because it's a knit, it's a 1x1 ribbing, just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way through. And yeah, sometimes I can't be bothered with the process of switching, purling, switching back, knitting, switching back, purling. It adds, it makes it add another movement in there, and I'm not feeling that right now. And I also owe these needles back to my friend Sarah at work, who also has a podcast. Her podcast is Sarah's Hand Makes on YouTube, and she's great. I'll link her below. I guess why I've always wanted to be able to like sit and knit on a podcast of my own is because when I've seen other podcasters doing their shows, like, you do have to focus and like think about and hold up yarns and think about what they are and their fiber content and stuff like that. So you can't, it's hard to be knitting and doing that at the same time. But I think when I applied that to myself and thought about how it would be on my own little show, it just kind of made me sad. Like, I want to sit here and just just knit and just hang out with everybody. So I don't know, maybe this is the right format where I kind of show off some of the stuff I've been working on in the beginning and get all the details out, and then the end of it can just be kind of open-ended, sitting, chatting, spending time together. I mean, we'll see if I even ever do this again. But it felt good. It's been feeling good. And I really just wanted to kind of give back to the community that's given me so much, both podcasters and knitting YouTube channels, stuff like that, and just the online fiber community. I've just wanted to contribute in some way more than what I had been doing before. Because it's made such a huge impact on me. I remember this episode of Gilmore Girls where Rory and Lorelai go to, I think they go to someone's house or they talk about someone's house that they've been to, and they mention how like every object in that house was knitted by hand, and how they're kind of like wigged out by it, like it's too much. And I think about that episode a lot because I feel as though that is my trajectory, that is where I'm headed. And one day, every exaggeration, every object in my house will be hand knitted. I just can't ever see myself not doing this all the time anymore. Keeps my hands busy. It just brings this quiet joy and solace to me. It's a way of self-care. And we've talked about this in the studio too, but how it is like we're kind of like taking it back in a way, primarily as women, because knitting has traditionally been in the past a way for women to provide for their families and make money for their families by trading sweaters in for food or goods that they need and stuff like that, way back when. And it's traditionally been for other people than the knitter themselves. And we've talked about how reclaiming this craft as part of our like free time is a way to change, to sort of be punk about it, honestly, like to do it our own way for ourselves. It's not selfish, it's just a passion project, and a way to provide for ourselves outside the patriarchy. So it feels extremely punk to me. And if you know, you know. The fact that we can have this network of dyers, farmers, spinners, people working in mills, and knitters, crafters, everyone creating from scratch and supporting each other, connecting each part of the process. It is really special. In the same vein, I should mention someone on Instagram who I think is like the most punk crafter I've ever seen. Her handle is I'd Knit That. Her name is Kindle, I believe, and she knits these art pieces all in stranded color work, pretty sure. And they often display things that she has written herself, and her writing style is so cool. There's this whole piece, or 4 pieces, that she created that recall this conversation she had with a painter, and how he said something along the lines of, it's so cool that craft is in, but you want to make art, I assume. And I've never felt so riled up by those words, by words like that, especially in conjunction, or, in relation to the fiber arts, how little credence they are given by men in particular. Yeah, I could really get on my soapbox about this. Y'all already know, I'm sure. But yeah, Kindle from I'd Knit That is super duper punk. I think she's incredible. At the end of that art piece, she said, even if your art is bad, to the painter, even if your art is bad, it still gets to be art. It's just food for thought. Yeah, I have my coffee in my little sheep mug from, again, from Golden Earth Designs. I love that part of it is unglazed. I love that texture of kind of the sandy, grainy um, clay there. And I'm burning this candle from a local maker in Fort Collins called Beldamia. She did this candle for us at IKEA for Wool Gatherer last year for our solstice box. And this is my first time burning it actually, but it's fern, moss, bergamot, and lavender. So it's very herbaceous and nice. I can tell you what I'm dreaming of making next. My foremost plan is a staff-in cardigan by Rebecca Clow, in some Durarum Natura Gilliatt yarn. I have it right here. I'm already exposing a little bit of my stash this way. There are boxes. We need better storage solutions here, but I feel like this is a safe space, so you're not going to judge me. But this is the yarn. It's in this like twig brown kind of color. And I don't know, I'm leaning towards more brown now, to be honest. Haven't really in the past, more beige and stuff, but I love kind of a grounding, earthy brown like this. It's very squishy. These ones are semi-woolen spun. This is what I was talking about earlier. See if I can get a strand loose to show you. There we go. So, yeah, this fiber is very squishy while also being very soft at the same time. Yeah, super nice to work with. One of my favorites. Yeah, can you tell I have a theme lately? Maybe I do have a color palette. It's funny. I really thought I'd be so nervous for this. And I was a little nervous in the beginning, but like, I know this community pretty well, and I know a few different people from it, and we're just like chilling, we're hanging out. we're just spending time together. And there's a lot of people in the fiber community that appreciate just community and togetherness. And I feel no sense of need to, you know, present myself a certain way, because I've always felt so much like, these are my people. And there's something so special about this community. So I love just getting to share space. Let me know if you have any favorite candle companies, scents, or different teas or tea companies that you all like. Let me know in the comments, because I'm always looking for something lovely. I thought about doing just like some casual kind of Instagram lives, maybe, where we just hang out and just knit and like lightly chat like this. So let me know if that's something that you would be interested in below, because I always like to have kind of a casual atmosphere like that. Could even like spin together live. That'd be really cute. Around here in Littleton, the temperatures have really been coming down finally. So today the high was like 63, just ideal. And I have been so looking forward to autumn that I kind of keep forgetting that winter is right around the corner. And it's honestly only been since becoming a knitter and spinner that I have really started to enjoy the winter, because there's just no better time to cozy up with a cup of tea and a candle and your work in progress than in the winter. You can put on all your your favorite socks and a little blanket, everything handmade, or not, but especially when it's handmade, it's just the coziest thing. Yeah, and I was looking forward so much to autumn this year that the winter is creeping up on me a little bit, and I'm not quite ready to let go of autumn. But then I kind of remembered that my knitting and spinning will be there to catch me when winter comes, to be there as a comfort. And then I felt better about it. I'm curious what y'all's favorite season is. So let me know in the comments. And tell me why, too, because I'm always curious, like, especially people that love spring the most. Is it the gardening? Is it the flowers? Spring has never quite been my favorite, although the gardening makes it more fun. So I'm curious why your favorite season is what it is. Okay. You know what? I think I'm almost at the point of binding off this hat, and I'm hungry, so I think I'll wrap it up here. But yeah, let me know your feedback in the comments. Let me know if you like this format or not. But I know I did, so probably do it again if I do this again. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. All right. Bye, y'all.